They laughed before I even tied my belt. That's how it began. Not with a match, not with a word of welcome, but with snickers echoing off the padded gym walls like knives, cloaked in chuckles. I was the only black teen at the Jiu-Jitsu tryouts that day. The only one who walked in with Walmart shoes, a secondhand GI, and a mother waiting outside with an empty gas tank. My name is Malik, and from wherever you're reading this, stay with me, because in just 12 seconds, everything changed. See, I didn't come here to impress anyone. I came because I needed this. Needed to find something that wasn't about survival, but about strength. My mom had just lost her third job in 6 months. My little sister Amina was too young to know why the lights flickered every night, or why dinner came in tiny foam boxes from church volunteers. When I told my mom I wanted to try out for jiu-jitsu, she didn't say, "We can't afford it." She just looked at me with eyes that had lost too much and said, "Try. That's all I ask. Just try." So I did. The dojo was in a polished part of town, the kind with cafes that sold oat milk and quiet racism. I stepped in and instantly felt it. Eyes whispering. That look people give when they think your presence is a mistake they'll soon correct. Coach Ethan barely nodded when I introduced myself. "You ever done this before?" "Only on YouTube," I said. He smirked. "You'll be a good warm-up for the others." The others were already stretching, clapping each other's backs, calling each other by names like Hunter, Zach, and Brody. They moved with the cocky confidence of boys who knew they were expected to win, whose fathers paid monthly dues and filmed their matches on iPhones from leather seats. One of them, tall, light-haired, and built like a linebacker, pointed at me and said, "Hope he doesn't bleed on the mat." Laughter. Loud. Too loud. I tied my belt slower, making sure the knot was perfect. My hands didn't shake. They never did. Not even when the eviction notice came last spring or when I caught my mom crying over the sink, thinking we were asleep. Coach blew the whistle. "Malik, you're up." With Brent. Brent, of course, the one who cracked the joke. I stepped onto the mat. Brent strutted like this was a game. I saw him mouth, "This'll be easy." He reached out lazily for the handshake. I took it. And then everything I had studied, everything I'd practiced in the park with no mat, came alive. First step, fake low. He laughed. Second step, grab his collar. His eyes blinked. Third, shift my weight, sweep his leg, pivot, mount. I felt his breath suck in like a balloon that didn't expect to pop. By the time he realized what happened, I had him in a clean armbar. The clock hadn't even hit 13 seconds. Brent tapped furiously. I let go. Silence, like the gym had forgotten how to breathe. Coach Ethan stood, blinked twice, then said, "Reset." Brent refused to meet my eyes. We went again. This time I used a triangle choke. 7 seconds. He didn't tap. He gurgled. Coach blew the whistle before he passed out. Everyone was staring now, not at Brent, at me, the kid in the worn-out GI who just silenced every doubt they'd laughed into the room. I stood and offered Brent my hand. He didn't take it. But that was okay, because when I looked toward the glass window, my mom was there. Tears in her eyes, phone shaking in her hand, filming everything. That night, the video went viral. Not because of some fancy production, but because the caption read, "Black teen silences mockers in 12 seconds, with dignity." People shared it. They commented things like, "Poetry in motion, proof that the quiet ones are deadly." His mom raised a warrior. But what they didn't know was what came after. The next day, Coach Ethan called me personally. "You made the team." I said nothing. He added, "And you earned your spot." I smiled. "Good. I wasn't asking for permission." From there, things moved fast. I got a sponsor, a small local gym run by a retired jiu-jitsu black belt named Mr. Alvarez. "I saw you in that video," he said. "I don't usually sponsor kids, but you've got fight in your bones." I trained there every weekend. Mr. Alvarez didn't care about money. He cared about motion, about patience, about pressure and peace coexisting in a single move. My first tournament was 3 weeks later. I walked into the arena wearing a clean jersey, new belt, and the same Walmart shoes. Mom was in the stands with Amina, holding up a handmade sign, "Choke them with kindness." Every opponent looked like Brent, but none of them lasted longer than 30 seconds. The final match? That was poetic. Brent, again. He wore new gear, new attitude. Still wouldn't meet my eyes. Coach Ethan looked between us like a man caught between pride and fear. The whistle blew, Brent charged. But rage never beats rhythm. I danced around him. Not out of disrespect, out of design. When I finally took him down, it wasn't with a dramatic flip. It was slow, clinical, intentional. And when he tapped, I held for 1 second longer. Not to hurt him, to remind him. That silence can speak louder than screams. After the medal was hung around my neck, Brent walked up to me. I underestimated you, he said. I nodded. I know. He stuck out his hand. This time I took it, and this time he held it. A few months passed. Offers came. More tournaments, more trophies. But the moment I remember most is when Amina told her class she wanted to learn jiu-jitsu because my big brother makes people stop laughing at him. Coach Ethan changed too. Slowly. He started correcting the boys when they joked. Started looking at me like an athlete, not a favor. And my mom? She found work at the community center. They gave her a job running after-school programs for kids who just needed one thing, a chance. The same chance I was given. I never fought for glory. I fought because sometimes silence is survival. But action? Action is resurrection. 12 seconds of action changed the room. But a lifetime of struggle? That's what made me. So laugh if you must. Doubt if you will. But just know, I don't need noise to prove I belong. Sometimes all it takes is 12 seconds.